Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back. And this is Jackson with Sooner Surge. And today I'll be talking about a little bit of this past junior day that happened on Saturday, March 4th. As I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard by now, was a massive weekend for Oklahoma. Absolutely great visits. I mean, Brent Venables and staff, I don't think they could have done it any better. Whenever you look at guys that were on campus, Williams Winery, Edric Houston, Michael Hawkins, Jaden Hardy, Kobe Black, the list goes on and on. And I really think Oklahoma was kind of able to make some early waves in the 2024 class. And I think we got to start out with talking about recently over the last couple of days, we've seen crystal balls for Williams Winery by Parker Thune and a Tennessee insider, I believe. And I mean, I just don't think Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis could have done any better than what they did. I mean, they blew it away with him. He's a kid that for a while now has been favoring Missouri because it's very close to where he lives. They were one of his first offers, if not his first. They've been on him for the longest time, and as you know, at Missouri, there's going to be some uncertainty this year with Eli Drinkwitz and their staff. You don't really know what to expect from Missouri this year, and I think that's kind of has some hesitation probably for Williams Neri. The instability there, they're not really that successful of a program in the SEC. They haven't been. I don't expect them to be for a while. But I mean, I don't think there's any way where this isn't. Oh, this is basically, in my opinion, right now Oklahoma's recruitment to lose. I know he still is going to take a lot of visits, but this kid is a lot like Adibore. He's very relationship driven, very quiet to himself, not much out in the public. Now he talks more than I did. Really, I think whenever you look at the biggest factors here, it's obviously still going to be Missouri. I do expect Tennessee to come in to play quite a bit. I think they're going to pursue him hard. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if as you know how recruiting goes these days, NIL, if Tennessee and Oregon play the NIL game a little bit more than OU and Missouri want to with them. I don't see Oregon happening. I think it's too far away from home for him. So like I said, he's relationship driven, very focused on his family. And Tennessee, I don't know about that fit for him now. I'm sure Tennessee really is starting to pick up ground over this 2024 class, 2023 class with their recruiting. They're starting to pick it up. Josh Heupel, he's building something good at Tennessee. I don't think we can deny that. And really, in the end, I do expect Williams Winery to end up sooner. Now, I know I may be sunshine pumping, but if he was, I would give it like an 80%. That's probably a sunshine pumper, but you can call me that if you want, but that's how I'm going to be when it comes to recruiting. Because I think we haven't had a staff like this since I've been watching Oklahoma football that's been able to recruit defensive talent like this. We've always been accustomed to the offensive talent. Now it's really the balance of recruiting starting coming in. I think it's nice to see. And the next guy that I want to talk about is David Stone at Texas A&M. Now I know Sooner fans are going to be worried about that because it's David Stone. His recruitment is going to be drama filled. It's Texas A&M. We know that. Gabriel Brownlow Dendy, 2021 class. David Hicks, 2022 class. Now I know I now as Michigan State's defensive line coach and their pass rushing specialist, I believe both left this offseason. Their pass rushing specialist was the main recruiter for David Hicks, actually went to the Seahawks. And their defensive line coach went to Georgia Tech, who is another main recruiter in his recruitment. Now, Stone still says he's interested in Michigan State. We'll see how long this buzz still lasts for Michigan State. I don't think it's really going to come down to Michigan State. I think it's going to be OU, A&M, and Ohio State in the end. I know Ohio State's really starting to push him hard over the last month or two. I believe he's going up there for a visit in a couple weeks. Now, I know he's coming to OU on, I want to say like 16th over spring break. Him and Michael Patterson McDonald, who is at Westmore, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Athlete David Stone's best friend. They're both going up to OU on the 16th. Then the next day, they're going up to Michigan State for a visit together. Stone is a guy whose recruitment is probably going to come down till July, August. It's going to be drama filled, lots of ups and downs. I think you'll hear something new every month about a new team, but there'll be one common factor in this, and it's OU. I don't expect the OU to get out of his top two. The only way I could see him not ending up at OU is with family, because on KREF today, I think it was Tyler McComas that was telling a story. And that basically Stone's family doesn't really want him to stay in Oklahoma to play football. They kind of want him to leave. And obviously, as you know, family can be a big factor when it comes on to recruiting. But I really think Stone, he likes OU. OU's his top place. He's from Oklahoma, loves Todd Bates. If Todd Bates, Brent Venables were at Clemson right now, Clemson would probably be in his top two with OU still. And then I don't see. I mean, there'll obviously be some reason to worry about A&M for Stone, but I do expect it to be Williams Nwaneri and David Stone as your main two defensive linemen in that class, along with Xavier Sims and Nigel Smith. Now, next guy, 5-star defensive lineman Edric Houston out of Buford, Georgia. I think OU was able to make some progress with him. Now, I'm not personally sold on this recruitment at all. I do not see him ending up a Sooner. I think OU could potentially squeeze an official visit out of him, but I'm kind of going to have to be convinced for OU to be in this. He's going to have to come back up again for me to be convinced about OU really being a major player in this, and that needs to probably happen for another unofficial. And I don't know when that would be. Obviously, Georgia and Alabama will be on him. I know Clemson's very in that race from things I've heard. Those are the three main schools, I think, in SEC territory. Obviously, there's going to be other schools like Florida, Florida State, Tennessee, that down in that area that are obviously going to make a push for them. But I'm not too bought in on Edric Houston. I know Sooner fans are going to get their hopes up because it's a 5-star defensive lineman on campus, and his tweet said he enjoyed the hospitality, which is a good thing, obviously. But most recruits say they enjoyed it. But once again, don't expect him to end up a Sooner. And now, guys, let's move on to Michael Hawkins. Jeff Lebby basically just about, or no, he didn't just about. He sealed his recruitment this weekend. As you guys saw, OU offered his brother Malik Hawkins. And there was quickly a crystal ball entered. Same day, within I think 2 hours after that offer went out. And I don't think that just happens for a reason. I don't think they would offer Malik necessarily that fast unless they knew Michael Hawkins was coming. Now, no one knows the timeline for Hawkins. I expect him to commit by the 20th of March. That's probably my timeline. It could be later. It could be early April. But if he did silently commit at the junior day, kind of have to think that why does he need to wait any longer? Because, I mean, the only thing that was basically the thorn in the side of OU was Kendall Briles, and he's done a great job with Mike Hawkins. I can give him all the credit on that. Hawkins' dad is an OU legacy. Hawkins has had other family that's gone to OU, I believe, and I think Kendall Briles has made this tough on OU, not made it easy. And I think Jeff Lebby's done best job he could. I mean, obviously, we saw the other day right before the junior day happened. I think the day before, OU offered 3-star QB out of Pennsylvania, Samaj Jones. Now, I mean, I think I was just offered to kind of to Hawkins, hey, you need to hurry up and get this over with, or we're gonna start attacking other prospects. And as you know, Michael Van Buren's supposed to come up in early April. If Hawkins commits by then, that visit's not going to happen. You can kind of cancel that. And once again, Hawkins will end up a Sooner. I would say I'm the most confident in him out of anyone in the 2024 recruiting class. I'd say like 95% chance he ends up a Sooner. And then now next is a guy that actually didn't get to come up for junior day. But a guy I want to talk about, he's actually 2025. That's Devon Mitchell, Michael Hawkins' former teammate. There's been buzz that he is interested in reclassifying to the 2024 class. As you guys know, he transferred up to Los Alamitos, which has been called the USC feeder school now, because Malachi Nelson, Makai Lemon, T.A. Cunningham's there now. Um, I'm sure there's other guys that are going to end up going to USC too, but it's just Devon Mitchell. I really do think if he does reclassify, OU has a legit shot in this recruitment. OU's been one of the hardest on him. He's been at the top of his list. Obviously, he's best friends with Michael Hawkins. That's like his basically brother. Obviously, he wants Hawkins to be his QB in college. I think Devon Mitchell will end up a Sooner. Yeah, I know there's some hesitancy in that, but I really do think if he reclassifies, he will come and play with Hawkins. And I know that there's been buzz about him for like 2 to 3 months about him reclassifying. And I know that I've read some stuff online that it's a real possibility just because he wants to get to college with Hawkins as quick as possible. And I think he is. And obviously, if he has the ability to reclassify, I don't know why he wouldn't do it because he obviously wants to get to the league as quick as possible. And he's even said he loves how OU uses their tight ends and Jeff Lebby's offense. Big fan of it. Was really spoke highly of Braden Willis too, which was another good thing. And me personally, if we do see within the next month or two that Devon Mitchell has reclassified, if I had the option, I would put in a crystal ball just due to the fact that Michael Hawkins is going to be committed to OU and he's best friends with Hawkins. And yeah, I know I was kind of out of the blue whenever I heard some stuff about that, but that's one thing to watch out for. And then nextly, we can talk about him. 5-star DB Kobe Black out of Waco, Texas. I know there was kind of a lot of wondering if whether or not he was going to be able to get up to Norman. He was actually able to make it, which is good. I'm not bought in on him. Even maybe OU gets an official visit from him. I'm just not bought in on that unless Jay Valai can just pull like a magic trick. There's not much I don't think OU can do in this. I don't think that's anything against Jay Valai how they've been recruiting him. He's just doesn't seem like a kid that's going to end up a Sooner. And 5-star cornerbacks are not even really accustomed to coming to OU. I guess you could say maybe the last 5-star corner was Brendan Radley Hiles, but I think he was only 5-star on the Rivals. He wasn't a composite, so I'm not even sure I would count that. Kobe Black, have to see him take an OV, have to see him take another official before there's even anything into that. And next guy, if you guys know, you've heard me talk about him. I'm very, very high on him. Jaden Hardy. I believe he's ranked as the number 1 or 2 safety in Texas. And obviously, as I've said on, I want to say the last recruiting video I did, that Hardy's actually never gotten to get up to Norman until this weekend. He's always spoke very highly of Brent Venables and Brandon Hall, Jay Valai. He said he loves them. He's supposed to come up in January, but some family matter came up. That's why he wasn't able to make it. Glad he was able to get up here this past weekend. There's been no crystal balls or anything for Jaden Hardy. If it's just from my personal own opinion, I think we'll see something soon come out about him. I do expect us to see some crystal balls, specifically by Brandon Drum. Brandon Drum has a great relationship with them. And, I mean, Hardy. Jaden Hardy's a dude, okay? Whenever I say he's an underrated player, he's an underrated player. There's no way, in my opinion, he should not be a top 100 player overall. I think he's only it's 168 or 186, one of those two. And then, yeah, I mean, I do think, once again, he'll be a guy that doesn't end up in OU's class. A big, big target that was on campus this weekend, and Jaden Hardy. I mean, Brandon Hall, guys, he's that dude. He's been able to get – I mean, realistically, he was able to recruit. Let's see. Well, he was able to recruit Eric McCarty to OU, Peyton Bowen. He played some of a role in Makari Vickers, Jamarian Burt. Let's see. Reggie Pearson as a transfer. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone, but just what basically what Brent Hall can do is he may be the best recruiter on this whole staff, and he's really gone to these kids, as you guys know. At Troy, he led them to a top 10 defense nationally. I think he got a couple of 3-star prospects at Troy, which as the defensive coordinator, which you never hear of 3 stars going to Troy. I mean, that's just how it is. And then next, Xavier Robinson, running back out of Carl Albert, Oklahoma. Don't need to spend much talking on this. Ever since he got the OU offer, he's going to end up a Sooner. I mean, I don't know what else. A kid from Carl Albert, basically grown up an OU fan his whole life. Now OU will offer him as a running back. I do not think he will play running back at OU. My opinion, I think he'll be in like a fullback / tight end role. Obviously, expecting Jeff Lebby to probably take a head coaching job, depending on who the next offensive coordinator will be after him, because Jeff Lebby does not traditionally use a fullback. He didn't last year. Now he could switch to tight end. I think that's a possibility. And another real possibility is linebacker. Pulling up a fullback or linebacker. There'll be too many guys in the running back room. Now, though, just like I said, they'll offer him as a running back, but really he's not going to be a running back at OU. And I mean, yeah, a couple more prospects. I mean, Drew Woodaz out of Saint Jesuit High School, I believe is how you say that. His brother, I actually did some research on this. His brother was the last player to commit to Brent Venables at Clemson. Now, I've seen some things that it's up in the air. OU and Clemson, it's their battle. Them two is going to come down to them two. And I don't really know much on him. That's just from things I've seen. I'll have to do some more digging about him, maybe find some interviews about his recruitment online. But that'll be a guy to watch out for because, as you know, your linebacker most likely is going to be Peyton Pierce. He's your one for sure guy. Then there's Michael Broganowski. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but he's out of Kansas City, linebacker / safety. He'll probably play linebacker at OU. Those are their two main targets. Ty Anthony Smith, that's another guy that OU's after, but OU really, and then obviously Sammy Brown, 5-star prospect. That's probably the last guy I was going to get to. Is that he actually wasn't up for the junior day. He's going to come up for the spring game for his unofficial. Now, I've heard that there's some good buzz there for OU that they could put that they're right now second in his recruitment. First is obviously Georgia because he's out of that area. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, and OU, I think, will be the main players in his recruitment. Me personally, just like I've said, I think OU second. Brent Venables, man, this is Brent Venables written all over him. 5-star linebacker, very high-level prospect. Brent Venables historically has been able to have the sway on these kind of linebackers out of SEC territory. People forget that OU was so close to landing Troy Bowles in the 2023 class away from Georgia. And Troy Bowles was the number 2, 3 linebacker in the country. I mean, top 60 prospect, very, very talented. And he was out of the heart of SEC territory. And I believe it was Florida, actually. But still, I mean, Brent Venables almost pulled him. And then you look at it, there's obviously Brent Venables has historically developed guys like Isaiah Simmons, first guy that comes to mind. That linebacker got moved to Cheetah, played safety, did everything. And I mean, yeah, I think that's probably all we got to talk about today, obviously. OU, Brent, oh, there's one more guy before we get out of here. Joseph Jonah Ajoyne. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. If he ever hears this, but I mean, he's just another guy. He's currently not ranked on 24/7 Sports, but he will get a massive jump in the next recruiting update. Very, very talented prospect out of Texas. Defensive end, this is all Miguel Chavis. This is his recruitment. Miguel Chavis obviously was able to land PJ Adebore and Taylor Wine in this last year's class, the two main guys. And I mean, guys, Miguel Chavis, Todd Bates, Jeff Levy, Brandon Hall. This staff is filled with a bunch of dudes when it comes to recruiting. And I actually do expect this year's class to end up with there's a chance it could be number 2. Now, that's high stakes over Georgia and Alabama, but I think if you start off landing by Xavier Sims, uh, Nigel Smith, David Stone, and Williams Winery, I mean, you're talking about an elite defensive line class, probably the best defensive line class in the country, probably the best OU has landed in who knows how long. But yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in to today's Junior Day update, and see y'all next time. Peace.